Ikaris, the boy who flew too close to the sun, is the most powerful Eternal introduced in Chloe Zhao's Eternals. Whether he ends up being the most powerful Eternal ever remains to be seen, as there are likely millions of other Eternals out there, including Eros and his bigger, more purple brother, Thanos. In this video, I will be breaking down the full might of Ikaris, including his strength, durability, speed, as well as any special abilities the character possesses. And while this next statement may be obvious, plenty of viewers get confused in the comment sections of these videos, so let me be very clear. This is a video on the Marvel Cinematic Universe Ikaris, not the comic book version. So I will not be using any source material that is not canon to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But before we go any further, I'd like to thank this video's sponsor, Bosley. Millions of men have come to Bosley for the answers to their hair loss and hair restoration questions. It turns out that it's much easier to keep your hair than it is to get it back after it's gone. And today I'd like to talk about Bosley RX, Bosley's simple and convenient way to restore, regrow, and retain hair. Hair loss starts earlier than you might think. 25% of men begin the process before age 21, and 2/3 experience hair loss by age 35. Bosley RX can help you stop hair loss dead in its tracks with effective, FDA-approved treatment options from the trusted leaders in hair restoration. Get proven prescription-only medication and specially formulated topicals delivered straight to your door. It's simple. Just complete an online survey and a physician will evaluate your submission, and upon approval, your treatment will be delivered directly to your door. No doctor's office visit required. It's fast, it's easy, and discreet. Start keeping what's yours. Learn how you can help stop hair loss by going to bosley.com/keyissues or click the link below to learn how you can get your first month free and with free shipping. That's bosley.com/keyissues to learn how you can get your first month free with free shipping. And with that being said, let's get right into the video. Ikaris is an Eternal, created by Arishem to eliminate the Deviants on chosen celestial birth planets. Ikaris was granted incredible power to carry out his mission to ensure the emergence of new Celestials and the continued creation of life throughout the universe. To that end, Ikaris was made to be especially powerful to take on the ever-evolving Deviant threat. Ikaris' power far exceeds the strength of his fellow Eternals, as he is able to fight Thena, Makari, Phastos, and even the Gilgamesh and Ajak enhanced Deviant Crow. But how strong is Ikaris? Well, we have some idea, and this will be a low ball as it's a pretty casual feat, but the only calculable one that we have thus far. And since the Eternals don't scale outside of their own movie at this time, it's hard to say that they're any stronger than what we can calculate. Toward the end of the film, after the Eternals prevent Tiamut's emergence with the Unimind, Ikaris flies to the sun to kill himself for the betrayal of the team and the murder of Ajak. As he is flying out of Earth's atmosphere, he is seen dispersing cloud cover. While this may not seem impressive, according to the USGS Water Source Science School, the typical cloud weighs roughly 1.1 million pounds. When calculating this specific feat of cloud disbursement, we get roughly 41.5 gigatons of force, making Ikaris island level at a low ball, meaning that he could destroy an island. The Eternals are all also held in high regard by other powerful beings within the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The group joined Odin and his army of Asgardians to battle against Laufey and his frost giants at Tonsberg, Norway. Following this battle, Thor, as a child, admired the Eternals. Thor, valuing might and power above all else as a child and even a young man, tells me that the Eternals should all somewhat be relative to the most powerful warriors of Asgard, as Thor wouldn't be so enamored with the group if they were not elite, above, the typical Asgardian soldier. Additionally, Odin gave Gilgamesh his secret mead recipe following the Battle of Tonsberg, and while this isn't any direct evidence of Ikaris' power, it shows that the Asgardian royalty held the Eternals in high regard and supports their calculable power levels so far within the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This statement of Thor admiring the Eternals comes directly from Kingo, who we know is far weaker than Ikaris. This is shown during the battle against the Deviants in the Amazon, where Gilgamesh told Ikaris to leave Crow to him so Ikaris could save the other Eternals, and without him intervening, Kingo and Sprite were surely done for. Kingo also states later that even with his help, the rest of the group would be no match for Ikaris, and he's right. Ikaris makes short work of both Thena and Druig, then goes on to fight Phastos, Makkari, and Thena simultaneously, and even takes a sucker punch from the empowered Crow. During this battle, it takes everything the other Eternals have just to control Ikaris for the briefest of moments, and when Phastos is able to capture Ikaris and then drain his power using his advanced tech, the strategy doesn't really last long, as Ikaris is able to overpower Phastos' tech while weakened and having just taken dozens of hits from Makkari. Ikaris is also flat out stated to be the most powerful Eternal, meaning that with all his powers combined, he's overall the biggest threat, although Gilgamesh is stated to be the physically strongest of the group. And as I mentioned, Ikaris can take attacks from Gilgamesh as seen in the final battle of the film.
Even with my help, we're no match. It's Ikaris.
Of course, Ikaris' body would need to be able to withstand the amount of power that he can output with his punches, so at a baseline he'd be island level, but because we know Gilgamesh is stronger than Ikaris, and Ikaris can take attacks from him with no visible damage and keep fighting, Ikaris' durability is likely far higher than what we can calculate at this time. Just take a look at what Gilgamesh is able to do to the Deviants who endure beatings from Ikaris. He's able to crack the jaw of Crow with one attack, and ultimately takes down the massive Deviant at Babylon, so Ikaris' durability shouldn't be understated. He can as well tank bladed attacks from Thena with no visible damage, while Gilgamesh was cut by her.
Thena, please, come back to us.
As for speed, Ikaris, of course, can fly to the sun in a very short amount of time. But due to the cuts in the movie, it's hard to get an exact number, but it's implied that he did it in a very short period, making his travel speed faster than light at an extreme low ball. As for reaction speeds, he's eventually able to adapt and react to Makkari, who can move at 224 million miles per hour, making her relativistic, if we want to use power scaling terms. And just for reference, Makkari is also stated to be the fastest being in the known universe, making Makkari faster than the likes of Captain Marvel and any other of the Avengers who would scale to Captain Marvel's reaction speed. So as of right now, Ikaris would easily be able to react to and speed blitz any of the Avengers if he were to get in a fight with them. And being the quote-unquote Superman of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, he would literally be able to fight the Avengers like Superman battles the Justice League in the DCEU. And just to emphasize the speed difference a little bit, Captain Marvel's best reaction feat is 750,000 miles per hour, and Makkari, like I said, can run at speeds exceeding 224 million miles per hour. So Ikaris would have no issue reacting to Captain Marvel or any of the other Avengers. I mean, he's literally over 200 million times faster than they are as far as reaction speed goes. And the characters might scale to each other one day when they all eventually meet up on the big screen, but since they don't scale to one another right now, Ikaris just has a massive speed advantage. And let's get into travel and reaction speed a little bit, just because I think a lot of people are going to mention this in the comments, so I might as well address it. We as humans have created vehicles such as a fighter jet, which can travel faster than the speed of sound, and just because we can pilot these aircraft that move this quickly doesn't mean that we can react this quickly. It's nearly impossible for a human to dodge a bullet, which of course would be moving faster than the speed of sound. When fighter pilots are up in the sky and moving faster than the speed of sound, they aren't typically running into obstacles that they would need to dodge, and the Mythbusters have a great video on dodging bullets. While it is technically possible, the gun needs to be a very, very great distance away. You need to be prepared to dodge the bullet, having prior knowledge that it was coming at you, and then you also need to react to the muzzle flash, not the bullet itself. So we determine Ikaris's reaction speed because he's able to react to Makari, who can run 224 million miles per hour. We know that Makari isn't holding back against Ikaris. She has no reason to do so. She, I think, would be trying her hardest, of course, to save the entire planet, and she thinks that Ikaris just killed the love of her life. Now let's discuss his other skills and abilities. Ikaris can, of course, fly, something the other Eternals are not able to do, which gives him a massive advantage in battle, especially when combining his flight with his energy vision, which he can emit from his eyes similarly to the way Superman can. These beams are potent enough to shred through the most intimidating Deviants. They're not really strong enough to seriously harm any of his fellow Eternals or even shred through their armor, as Druig could tank his eye beams for an extended period of time, and we know Ikaris wasn't holding back as he thought he had killed Druig. Makari can also get struck by his beams and get right back up after being hit by them. Additionally, these are specifically energy beams and not heat vision or light beams like Superman's are in the DCEU. So his energy beams wouldn't be blatantly light speed like Superman's, as detailed by Chloe Zhao during the director's commentary.
We wanted to make sure we separate Ikaris with Superman as much as possible, and Superman has heat vision, and this is more of an energy blast.
Ikaris is very, very skilled in hand-to-hand combat as well, as we see in his brief fight with Thena aboard the Domo. Thena is directly compared to Captain America's skill by Nate Moore, the producer of Eternals, and she's also considered the fiercest warrior and referred to as the greatest warrior by Sprite. Sprite also considers Ikaris the most powerful, but I don't consider these two statements contradictory. It's easy to assume when Sprite says greatest warrior, she means the most skilled combatant. While Ikaris is not as skilled as Thena, going by both of these statements and what we see on screen as he simply overpowers her to defeat her, he is able to skillfully dodge and counter her attacks in their brief 1v1. Ikaris is also considered the tactical leader of the Eternals. He determines their battle plans and leads them, which makes him an even more dangerous threat, as he has over 7,000 years of tactical experience. So trying to outsmart Ikaris on the battlefield would be a tall task for any opponent. As for equipment, Ikaris is granted his ceremonial outfit by Arishem. However, while the armor glows with celestial power, it doesn't actually offer any protection from harm, as the Eternals are already so powerful. Arishem didn't deem it necessary to outfit them in protective armor.
And because their costume doesn't really protect them. That's not, they're strong. It's not about the costume, you know.
They have their powers even without the costumes.
Exactly.
They can fly without the costume. Ikaris can fly without the costume. It's really
ceremonial. You know, that's a
ceremonial, yeah.
So, in summary, Ikaris is at a low ball, physically on par with the likes of Thor and Hulk, while being much, much faster than Captain Marvel. He has the skills to keep up with characters like Captain America in hand-to-hand combat, not to mention he can fly and has energy projecting eyes. But there's something I'd like to mention before wrapping this video up, and that is the Unimind Amplified Ikaris. As we know, the Eternals survived the Emergence by being lent power from the Celestial emerging from the planet. It is how they survived the Emergence. When amplified by the Unimind, Ikaris would become closer to planetary in durability as well as attack potency, and possibly even higher. So that is pretty much everything I have to say about the Eternal Ikaris. I think he is pretty downplayed when you consider him one-to-one against the other Avengers, and I think the Eternals are also pretty downplayed as a group. I have a video detailing why the Eternals would completely smash the Avengers in a fight, but I think you can tell by this video that Ikaris would be more than enough for the majority of Avengers. Let me know what you thought of Eternals down in the comments. Let me know if you liked Ikaris, and let me know if you think he'll be back. I'd love to see the character return, but you never know. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and remember the motto, it's Ikaris over everything, and I'll see you guys next time.